again, he makes another statement which also gives you a glimpse of his character. Very humorous he was. Actually, he knows that he is an Indian, but he lived in England, born and brought up in England, and so his speech is like an Englishman. And then he lives in America, and he says that America is the land of mixed cultures, different types of people living, enjoying. And he says that his sensibility is that of an American. At that line also I will read. The country where people look like me. What is that country? India. In India, there are people who look like me. Why? Because I am an Indian, born of Indian parents. And so in looks, I am an Indian. Okay, that is the meaning. In looks, I am an Indian. But what is the problem? It is the one where I can't speak the language. See, I am an Indian, but I don't know the Indian language. And so people of India will never accept me because even though I look like an Indian, I cannot talk like an Indian. Then he says that the country where people sound like me, that is Britain, is a place where I look highly alien, foreign. That is the next line. He says that he speaks like an Englishman. But there, the British people will not say that he is a Britisher. Why? Because he is a foreigner to them. His looks are different. He looks like an Indian. And then the last part also is very interesting. And the country where people live like me, that is America, is the most foreign space of all, unquote. And so, in looks, he is an Indian. In speech, he is an Englishman. And then in his lifestyle, he is an alien. But in both these places, in all these three places, he is a foreigner, he is an alien. He doesn't belong to any country, any space. And that is the indication. During our business trip from Hong Kong on a Tokyo stopover, Iyer was enchanted by the tranquility of a Buddhist temple that he happened to visit. That is another turning point in his life. Now I am explaining how Pico Iyer from New York, how he came to Japan and why he is living at present in Japan. What made him leave the beautiful city of New York? And what made him settle in a remote place called Nara village in Japan? That is once on a business trip from Hong Kong, he happened to visit a Buddhist temple in Japan. He was so enchanted by the serenity and the tranquility of the place. And he wandered around the place. And he was so happy to spend time there. And there he decided to leave New York City and come to live in Japan. And he comes and settles, not a permanent settlement, he will never settle anywhere, but for years he is living in Japan. And he is living in the old capital of Japan. That is a place called Nara. And he lives, it's a place of scenic beauty. And he had written a work called Autumn Light. And actually he celebrates the beauty of autumn in the village of Nara. And so he had written a beautiful work called The Autumn Light. It is a sublime celebration of autumn season. And this autumn is set in the old village of Nara in Japan. And he himself says that Japan is such a beautiful place. Japan will give you immense joy and happiness. In no other place he thinks that he will be as happy as he is in Japan. For him, the tranquility, the quietness of the place is very, very important. And he believes that a creative mind will be working at its best in such a tranquil atmosphere. And so he lives in Nara in Japan, and he had written plenty of works here while living here. He married a Japanese woman called Hiroko. And so he married a Japanese woman called Hiroko. And he had great appreciation for the beauty of Japan. He was very comfortable in living in Japan. And now I think you got an idea of the person. See where he was born, the speciality of his name, his parents, his attitude to life, his peripatetic attitude to life, and all these things you have understood. He studied in Oxford and Harvard University. His attitude to life. I think you have got an overall idea of the author. And today we will be discussing the lesson, the essay in praise of the humble Koma. Actually, Koma is personified. Koma is presented as a very humble person. It is, and then you will be wondering why the author praises Koma. Why he is personified, why Koma is personified as a humble person. See, this essay is an interesting account of the need of proper punctuation. And so remember, this essay is about the need of proper punctuation. And he says that it is an inevitable part of written communication. Because when you speak, you can lower your voice, or you can use a high pitch, you can make pauses, falling intonation, rising intonation. The idea will be clear to the hearer. But in a written language, punctuations do this purpose. And so punctuations are an inevitable part of written communication. That is what this essay is about. That is what the essay is about. That is, this essay deals with the need of proper punctuations in written language and how the meaning is communicated effectively by using different types of punctuations. And that is the subject of this essay. And you know the punctuation marks. What are the punctuation marks? You know the period, full stop, then comma, then colon, semicolon, inverted comma, single inverted comma, double inverted comma. Then you have ellipsis, then exclamation marks, brackets, square brackets are there, the round brackets are there, all are punctuations. And Pico Iyer says that these punctuations play a significant role in communicating in a written language. He goes on glorifying it, and finally he says that punctuation is having the attitude of a lover towards his beloved. A lover will be doing everything to please the beloved, to make the beloved comfortable. Similarly, punctuations love sentences, and punctuation gives the right meaning to the sentences. Even the mood of the writer is revealed to the reader. And so the punctuation has a grammatical function, then it has an emotional and a psychological function also.